Jeff Boyler's story is one that still sends chills down the spine of anyone who hears it. A Marine, a police officer, deputy sheriff, a man who had seen danger before, but nothing like what he would face deep in the Cascade Mountains of Oregon. This is the true story of Jeff Boyler, as told on Paranormal Witness and later in his own haunting interview. In 1997, Jeff Boyler was a fit single man. He'd served proudly in the Marine Corps, then worked as a police officer. But he had always been drawn to nature, the peace of the wilderness, the solitude of the forest. One day, Jeff decided to leave it all behind and move to Oregon. He wanted to live closer to nature, to the kind of untouched wilderness few people ever get to see. Shortly after moving, a friend of his, an elected sheriff in a rural county of northwestern Oregon, reached out. With Jeff's background, the sheriff asked if he'd consider joining the department as a deputy. Jeff agreed immediately. It felt right. Within months, he was thriving in his new life. After a few months on the job, Jeff was happy, grounded, content. One afternoon, he got off work early. The weather was perfect, one of those crystal clear Oregon days where the forest seems alive. Originally, he'd planned to just head home. But on impulse, he decided to go hiking, to visit a remote section of the Cascade Mountains where, 20 years earlier, he'd buried a close friend. It was an unmarked trail, but Jeff knew exactly where to go. He had a map, a compass, and the skills to handle himself in the wild. So he drove his Jeep to a dirt lot at the mountain's base, stepped out, unfolded his map, and plotted a rough route up toward his friend's grave. The hike was rough, steep terrain, no clear path, dense forest. After 2 hours, Jeff decided to adjust his course toward what looked like a clearer stretch of woods shown on his map. Beside him ran a freshwater stream. He knelt down, splashed his face, and took a drink before checking his bearings again. It was 1997, no GPS, just his map and compass. Jeff raised the compass to take an azimuth reading. But as he peered through it, something caught his eye. About 20 feet above him, behind a tree and a large boulder, someone was watching him. At first, Jeff thought it was just another hiker. He could see the outline of a head, 2 eyes fixed on him. He lowered his compass and tilted his head in confusion, and the figure mimicked him, cocking its head in the exact same way. Then it stepped out from behind the tree. What he saw froze him in place. A massive, hair-covered humanoid, easily 8 feet tall. It wasn't a bear. It wasn't human. Instinctively, Jeff reached for his sidearm, but his holster snagged. He fumbled for a moment, and when he finally drew his weapon and looked up, the creature was gone. Jeff climbed up toward where the creature had stood. There were no tracks, no scent, nothing. He searched the ridge for signs, walking in the direction it might have gone, but the forest was silent. Way too silent. After nearly an hour, Jeff realized he might be lost. The sun was sinking fast. He had no flashlight, no supplies, and a growing sense of unease. He decided to turn back. But as soon as he did, a massive crack shattered the silence. A tree had fallen, the sound so loud it echoed like an explosion. Jeff spun around. Nothing, no movement, no sign of what caused it. He started walking faster. Then another tree snapped and crashed to the ground, this time ahead of him, to the right. Now he was surrounded by sounds of destruction, trees falling in opposite directions, and yet, no movement, no wind, no explanation. Jeff's instincts told him something was terribly wrong. If that creature was responsible, how was it moving so silently from one side of him to the other? How could something that large move unseen? Then a third tree crashed down, this time on his left, back near where the first had fallen. That's when the realization hit him. He was being hunted. Panic surged. He bolted down the mountain. As he ran, he heard trees crashing on both sides, left, right, behind him like giants closing in. Branches whipped his face. Rocks tore his hands. But he didn't stop. He just ran. After half an hour of pure terror, Jeff burst into a clearing and froze. A deer stood in the center, staring at him. But the deer wasn't afraid of Jeff. It was looking past him over his shoulder and then, without warning, bolted into the trees. Jeff turned slowly to see what it had seen. Another deafening crash, a tree slammed down just behind him. That was it. He sprinted the last half-mile to his car, hearing trees fall faster and closer as he went. He reached his Jeep, fumbling with his keys as his heart pounded. The forest behind him fell silent. He unlocked the door, dove inside, slammed it shut, and sped away without looking back. When he got to the sheriff's office, he told his superior everything. The sheriff listened carefully, and then said something that made Jeff's blood run cold. You get reports like that all the time from that exact section of the Cascades. He believed Jeff, but admitted no report would likely be followed up. Decades passed before Jeff ever spoke publicly about what happened that day. When he did, his story matched countless others. Eerily similar encounters from the same region, all describing the same towering, silent creature. No one has ever proven such a being exists. But to this day, Jeff swears he knows what he saw. And that something not human, hunted him through those woods. Oh, what do you think chased Jeff Boyler down that mountain? Was it a creature the world refuses to acknowledge? Or a trick of fear and isolation? Let us know what you believe, and if you'd survive a night in the Cascades.